Yeah.
All right, man. We live, man. Post game. This is our first time doing post game during the playoffs, man. I think we go continue to do it all the way to the finals, man. Because we can't wait to Friday sometimes to talk about this stuff, man. So we go get in here, man. Dallas just beat the Minnesota T-Wolves in Minnesota. Game 1. There was a shocker. Went down to the wire. Which I'll see.
I saw a Kyrie Irving who looked like he heard Ant say that he was his assignment after Game 7. That's what I saw. That's the first thing that I noticed off the bat. Kyrie doing Kyrie things, finishing with both hands. It didn't matter who was on him. He was able to get by him and can finish over 7-footers, whether you were 6 foot, no matter who it was, he was finishing over everybody. I saw Anthony Edwards be a little bit passive. Me and Chris, we was just talking about this, that he wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be in a Western Conference Finals series. Like you a strong athletic kid, go to the cup, put the onus on the referees, make them foul you. But we'll talk about that possible reasons why a little bit later. But yeah, and I saw Luka close out the fourth quarter. Some questionable calls, definitely, but Luka made some big time shots in the fourth quarter. So I mean, all credit to Dallas. The game was competitive throughout. It was definitely interesting to see how Minnesota was going to handle that short break in between that a Game 7 on the road in Denver, and then have to fly back home and play a game 2 days later. So it'll be interesting to see what they do Game 2. This becomes a must win. You don't want to go back to Dallas down 0-2.
Yeah, you definitely want to do that.
You don't want to do that. So we'll see.
You think the short turnaround might have got to him in the fourth quarter?
At the little gas, even in the third, he was kind of like walking it up the court, and he even when he was walking up the court, like he was walking up the court, he stood there and he was kind of camped out like a spot up shooter, and that's not who we get. I don't know the exact stats, but I guarantee you he took more threes than twos. I know that, and for him to be as strong and as athletic as we all know that he's been for this entire season, and keep in mind he's never been this far before. This is late basketball, and on vacation by this time most times.
Yeah, he took 12 threes. He only took 16 shots. So
that's what I'm saying. He took 12 threes out of 6.
I mean, he hit 5 of them, but when you look at it, McDaniels had it going. He had 24. He hit 6 of 9 behind the arc. But as far as what they usually get from Alexander Walker, he was 0 for 4 from the 3. They he only had 2 points. They needed him to be a little bit of a threat because having him on the floor is an extra defender that can defend. But the way they pressured Denver is a little different because no one handles the ball for Denver except Jokic and Jamal Murray.
That's true.
Caldwell Pope don't handle it. Gordon will bring it up, but he's not gonna bring it up against pressure.
Bring it up as soon as he cross half court, he's giving it to somebody else.
Right, and Michael Porter Jr. don't do it either. And then coming off the bench, if they bring Reggie Jackson off the bench, he'll do it. But other than that, they only got Jamal Murray to handle the ball, and pressuring him is a little different than trying to pressure Luka or Kyrie,
definitely,
or whoever. So I mean, I never feel like they actually could get in their pockets the way they got in Denver's and Jamal Murray. Kyrie's is shifty, man. Like,
yeah, he is.
It's different.
It is, and defensively, like they in the pick and roll, that's what Luka thrives in. And that they do drop coverage when Gobert's in the game. He was faced with some tough situations. He dropped back in the paint after the screen, and now Luka's coming downhill. And Luka, everybody knows what his game is. If he gets you on his back, he's going to keep you there. Wait, hesitate, see what the roll man does. Make Gobert commit to him, throw the lob, or either continue to the basket, head fake, pump fake, get fouled. That's what he kept doing over and over again. And I don't know if that drop cover, I think they need to blitz him off the ball. He still is a good passer. And so is Kyrie. Kyrie is pretty, it's nothing you can really do with that. But yep, somebody just said the drop coverage is not, it's especially with Gobert. Now, if Cat is the 5 and they play in a smaller lineup, Cat normally blitzes off those screens. So he tries to get the ball out of whoever the ball handler's hands, whoever the ball handler is, he try to get it out of his hands. So if they do that, maybe they'll have better luck getting into their pockets, but they definitely gotta figure something out defensively to slow them boys down.
Yeah, Kyrie in this bag, man. He playing masterful basketball. Even how he played against OKC, knowing, look, man, they don't need me to come in here and outshoot OKC. They need someone to go that's gonna be scrappy, that's gonna be someone that's concentrating on defense, because he knew if he did it, then he could get Luka to buy in. So he was going multiple games without taking a shot in the first half,
Yeah.
and then come in the second half and get all the points that he needed in the second half.
Mm.
Timely buckets. You know how good you got to be to say, look, I don't need to be a volume shooter. Whenever you need me to hit a bucket, I can hit
I
it.
get one. I know how to get my
Right. Versus someone saying, if I take 15, I might miss 5 straight, but then I might get hot and hit 5 straight. That's a different thing.
yeah.
Like versus someone saying, I'm only getting 5 shots and I need to knock down 4 of them. That's what Kyrie's playing.
Yeah. He really,
Masterful basketball.
I think last game he had 6 points at the half. Of course, he had 24. He had 9 shots in the first quarter. He came out aggressive, and he knew that was a part of the game plan. Obviously, and it needs to continue to be part of the game plan, especially if they want to continue to win games. Because, shout out to Minnesota, because even with Luka and Kyrie scoring 30, what was the final score?
108, 105.
108, 105, 3-point game, with some stupid, honestly, shots from Minnesota. So, they right there in the game. So we'll see. We'll see what
They didn't dictate nothing on defense though, bro.
at all.
They
And
didn't
that's
dictate
their calling
anything.
card. That's their calling card. They didn't dictate
Yeah.
nothing on defense, and Ant was not aggressively attacking the basket on offense. And I think that's why they lost the game.
Yeah, I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks from Dallas. Only got 3 from Minnesota.
Wow.
And that could be attributed to the short turnaround. Dallas did have a little bit more extra time than Minnesota did coming into this series. Not to mention, we saw Ant, like we was talking about it before we came on. Ant took a nasty fall in Game 7, and anybody who knows, you hit that tailbone, and that's a different kind of hurt and a different kind of recovery.
Yeah.
You kind of feel that one a little late. So I think just being gassed, the short turnaround. I don't know how much the change in altitude coming back down affects you. You know what I'm saying? Because you were just in Denver, and then you got to come and come back to surface level. So I don't know how much of a change. I know going from surface level to high is a change. I wonder if coming back down is a change. And then Jokic is not really an athletic big, and Gobert had problems, but Gafford and Lively are faster, more athletic, more sound footwork than Jokic, and Gobert is going to have a problem if that's who he has to primarily defend. That partly got exposed tonight, so they need to go and look at the tape. Maybe you switch up the coverages, like you saying Cat, or maybe you even consider bringing Gobert off the bench and starting Naz Reid at the 4 and Cat at the 5.
Who was effective. Naz Reid was effective tonight when he came in. As a matter of fact, they took the lead back from Dallas when Naz Reid got in the game. I think they might need to do that.
Because not.
But
Nas
why
is,
though?
Nas
But why
is
though? So long. So if you have Edwards, who you're relying on for points, and you got Karl Anthony Towns, who you're relying on for points,
you should have Rudy
right?
in the game. Yeah,
you should have Rudy in, because if you have Nas in the starting lineup with them, he's not going to get shots over Edwards and Cat, and then you're going to come off the bench with Gobert.
Yeah, and he definitely ain't no scoring threat. But the reason why is because, I mean, honestly, this is the same Rudy Gobert that we saw in Utah. Like his flaws is what like they're much more shielded now because he had Donovan Mitchell, but now you got Cat and Ant. So offensively, you are just not, you're not capable enough offense. If it's not a lob, and sometimes he's weak with the basketball. He don't keep his elbows up like true centers do when they catch it down there. He loses the ball. He lets it slip out his hand. He does some weird shots sometimes offensively. So when Cat and Ant aren't going, like they weren't going this game, they weren't able to score. So a lot of their stuff was pick and roll, and Rudy is still 7'4", so he's one of the biggest guys on the court, and they get it down to him, and he's not effective enough to be a scorer. So that's why I think they went to Naz Reid. But you made a great point, Mel. you know, it's tough because you know who your scorers are, and so you need everybody else to be, you know, Conley be the floor general, get everybody in their spots. McDaniels the 3-and-D guy, as he was great tonight. He was awesome tonight. He's been awesome for the last 5 games. And then you need Rudy to be a rim runner, defensive presence. But when they call on him to score, he's just not able to do it at a consistent level. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me say this real quick before you go, Chris. Minnesota got comfortable because they had to lead most of the game, and they didn't put Dallas away. They just they coasted, and then Dallas came back and really got them in the end. But when you look at how Minnesota played, 49 threes they shot. 49. Dallas shot half of that. Dallas only shot 25 threes. So 49 threes that they shot, and then they missed free. I mean, there was 11 to 18 on the free throw line.
There's the game right there. Then 11 for 18. That's the game. Like
7 free points off the board.
That's free points, and I bet in Dallas, I guarantee you that they shot in the 80s and 90s. Because when I'm watching the game,
90, they missed one free throw.
They weren't missing many. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't do that, and that's another thing. Gobert, he's not the greatest free throw shooter either. I don't know what his numbers were tonight, but I guarantee you they were sending them to the line because he's just offensively, he's just so limited to one thing and one thing only. And it made it weird because you got these 2 7-footers. Granted, Cat don't really play like a defensive presence, but Gafford does. And Lively does. So I was thinking, well, maybe Ant is just not going to go to the cup because he got those guys down there and they trying to block any and everything. But I feel like that should be more the reason why you should go to the cup. Put the onus on the referee. You athletic, get that contact because them boys going to try to block your shot because that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? They did let, I agree though, Mel, they did let Dallas hang around too long, and it was just it came back to bite them.
It wasn't no sense of urgency.
What I was, and that might be from the gassed aspect. Like, hey, you know, if we get this lead and we can just maintain it, you know, conserve the energy and then recover. But that's a deadly way of thinking, especially in the Western Conference Finals, because at this point now you are the 2 best teams remaining in the conference, which means that it is a strike at any moment possibility, right? You have 2 of the most dangerous scorers in the league today on the other side who can get hot like that, right? Kyrie and Luka, not to mention the fact that they are facilitators and can get everybody else on the team involved, right? So that coasting mentality, and again, we can kind of attribute that to Minnesota kind of being young as well, right? Cat is probably the only one on that team, and Mike Conley with like, and Gobert too. But I mean, Gobert's not really like a general vet kind of guy where you like take that advice from. But Cat and Conley are the only ones with some kind of, you know, experiences to like, hey, we have to keep the foot on the pedal, right? So all these guys is like, man, you know, we're kind of tired, gas, whatever. If we can get the lead and maintain it, we'll be straight. But part of that is also hitting shots when they started missing a lot. A lot of shots, and they were taking a lot of threes. Like you said, they took 49, and they weren't getting any rebound. They weren't getting any second chances on those possessions. It was a lot of one and dones, right? And then the second chances that they were getting, they weren't finishing, or they were getting turnovers, right? So these are things that they got to clean up. But what I was going to say to the Gobert coming off the bench, the risk reward chance of that, right, is do you trust your scorers enough to at least catch fire somewhere in this series to where you can put that defense out there? Because if you can stop them from scoring, eventually you're thinking that your guys are going to score more than them, right? I feel like that's the kind of thinking like, hey, at this point, you got to sell out. It's the Western Conference Finals, right? We got to do whatever works. So if this tonight didn't work, you have to go to the drawing board and figure out something else, because you can't go back out there with the same plan you went out there with tonight and expect something different to happen. The same thing is going to end up happening again. So you got to do something different.
Somebody said they had one day off more than that. Well, it's different. Yeah, I think that Dallas ended their series on the 18th in a game 6. They just played a game 7 2 days ago in Denver. Yeah, they probably gas. I don't think gas is an excuse. They professional athletes, the basketball players. I don't think that's an excuse, but it's a reason. It's a big difference between being gassed. Having 3 days off and having 2 days off after a Game 7 series. So I can say that they probably was gassed, but that ain't
It's not an excuse.
That ain't Dallas' fault. That like you should have won it. You should have won in Game 6. That's probably what Dallas is thinking. At the end of the day, if you tired, good. We're glad you tired. We're gonna probably come out and be able to execute in the fourth quarter, and they did. And the Timberwolves just look like pick and roll, dance around. Whoever gets the first pass, they shooting the three. And if those threes, like Chris said, if those threes not falling, then I mean it's gonna be tough for them. 49 threes is crazy though.
That's a lot.
18 of 49. I mean, they shot 36%, but 18 of 49 threes, and Dallas only hit 7 of 25.
Yeah, see, you
or 6 of 25.
You hit 6. You let this team beat you.
Again, the free throws, man. You make those free throws. This is a very different conversation that we're having.
Absolutely.
Because that's how close the game was, honestly. Like, and we talking about how close the game was and how bad of a game Ant had, or how bad of a game Nikhil Alexander Walker had. Like, they were just a few made baskets off of this being a different game. So to say, like, you know, Dallas is gonna walk away with this series, I'm not comfortable saying that, because just off these flaws of this game, and it was only a 3-point win. Luka and Kyrie going for 60 plus together to only win by 3. Like this, if the Timberwolves can figure it out, if Ant can get back into his bag, start scoring again, if Gobert can be some kind of defensive player of the year that he's gotten 4 times, which I still don't understand how.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then it's going to be a better series, and Minnesota's chances of winning this series are going to go higher. But if they come out flat like they did tonight, it's going to be a short trip.
And keep in mind, Minnesota just. I'm not counting them out because, like you said, it was a close game. But I'm not counting them out because they lost 3 straight to Denver. 3 straight after going up 2-0 and lost 3 straight to Denver, and a bunch of people counted them out. And I was looking at them sideways, my doggone self. I'm an Ant fan, but I'm thinking, hey man, this champions doing what champions do. They decided to put those dudes away. But they won the last 2 games, the two games that mattered the most. So I can't count them out. And a lot of those games I've seen Anthony Edwards play really, really good basketball. Tonight, he didn't play good basketball as far as what his team needed. If you look at his stat line, it's not horrible. 19 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. So he was doing a little bit of it.
Almost had a triple-double.
Almost had a triple-double. But at the end of the day, even if they won, watching the game, the eye test is what, you know how we do. The eye test is what we go off first. And watching that game, he looked super duper passive. It looked like they were trapping him, blitzing him, but they weren't. It's like he had flashbacks of what Denver was doing. He would just get off the screen and roll, stay at the 3-point line, kind of look. When somebody peels off, he passed it and he maybe relocate, get it again. But it was no aggression whatsoever. At the end of the day, that's not what you're there for. You the guy. You need to be the guy when it's time to be the guy.
The first option.
Yeah, you the first option. Now, what I will say is Dallas needs some points from somebody other than Kyrie and Luka. Like if they want to continue to win.
I mean, should they getting every now and then PJ Washington to have a small flurry, or he might hit a big shot.
He hit a big shot.
Jones is getting a little slash and tip back. You know, he getting his little stuff. Like I like what they're doing. You need to play defense, rebound, and if you got 2 stars, they both can give you 30. I think that's enough if you're playing defense. The only teams that really need points from all over the place is the James Harden led teams, and or how Luka used to play when you're not playing no defense. But they playing better defense right now.
They are playing better defense, but at the same time, if I told you Luka scored 30, Kyrie scored 30 against them, you would expect the difference in points to be a lot more than 3, especially against the young Wolves. And Edwards shot horrible, honestly. And Cat, I don't know what he shot. I know he didn't shoot good either. Like, if they have their normal shooting games, nothing crazy, this is not enough points to beat them. Based on what we saw tonight. Now, true indeed, Jaden McDaniels, I don't expect him to be the leading scorer for this team going forward. Now, he hit some opportune buckets, and he kept them in the game in the first half, kept Kyrie from running away with the game by his doggone self, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like those guys are going to have to hit a more of a clip of shots, or be more, because at the end of the day, the number one defense in the regular season was Minnesota. It wasn't,
and that's my point. You're telling me that's the number one defense, and Dallas not getting enough points, but they beating Minnesota at their own game. Like when you look at the Phoenix series with Minnesota, it don't matter. They swept them. It didn't matter what KD and Booker did. They had KD, Booker, and Bill. It didn't matter what they did. When it was time to rise to the occasion, Ant-Man or McDaniels was doing it. It was nothing Phoenix could do. Like when I'm watching a team play and I see them getting hit from all over the place and they don't know where the punch is coming from. Remember that analogy I said where you have a hole in your ship and it's taking on water and you plug that hole and another hole pops up. That's how it was. Every time Minnesota tried to do something to Dallas, another somebody did something. Like, okay, let me stop Luka. Here's Kyrie.
No. It was only Luka and Kyrie that was doing something. They were the playmakers and the point scorers. Like, that's what I'm saying. In my opinion, like they were the something that was happening. Like, and I know that there's really no remedy for them, but like if we look at the numbers, like of course, let me see. I'm gonna look real quick.
But that's their offense, though, Zoe. And Phoenix couldn't do that, and they got two guys that's just as potent, if not as more potent.
It is.
It is. Dudes, and it didn't work.
It is. It barely didn't work. I mean, of course, all it takes is 1 point to win a game. All I'm saying is this. I want to see more from Dallas's role players, and I think they're going to have more from their role players production-wise in order to continue to win games, because you can't expect Anthony Edwards to be super-duper passive based on what his shooting was prior to now, and you can't expect Cat to have such a horrible game what it was to now. You can't even expect Kyrie, because let's be real. Luka, in the fourth quarter, I was hoping that he didn't blow the game. And let me tell you why. When you have somebody going like, I think we had a series, the Lakers versus whoever, Denver, where Anthony Davis was absolutely positively carrying the team offensively. He couldn't be stopped no matter who you put in front of him. And then in the fourth quarter, LeBron tried to take over, and it was unsuccessful, and they end up losing the game. This is similar to what happened tonight, except, of course, Luka made the shots. If he missed those shots, we're talking about a whole nother ball game, especially considering the bad calls that was towards the end of the game. I just want PJ Washington to hit those open threes. I want Derek Jones to make those plays around the bucket continuously, to give those guys a little bit more support, because in a series like this, you're going to need it.
I'll give credit to Dallas. They were switching very well on defense as well too. I think they were throwing like a lot of looks that the Wolves weren't really prepared for. Honestly, I think the Wolves kind of just like stuck in. Ain't gonna have Kyrie and Conley with like Luka, or whoever was guarding Luka primarily. I don't think they were really prepared for Tim Hardaway to switch on the Ant, or PJ Washington to switch on the Ant. You know what I'm saying? And then once Ant, I seen it in the comments that they said that Ant needs to drive more to open up the offense. I completely agree. 100. And when Ant was not driving, nobody needed to crash the paint, so everybody could still play outside and close off everything. So they were doing a lot of those, bailout passes that caused a lot of turnovers, right? Mm-hmm. Because nobody was crashing, so everything was expected to be on the outside. I think for them to be successful, they do have to start using Ant and Cat to crash, and Gobert too. There's no reason you're 7+ feet and you can't dunk on 99% of everybody else on the other team. Yeah. There's no excuse for
that. Let's discuss narratives. Let's start with.
I like this comment right here, though, and that probably had a lot to do with Ant being burnt out.
Yeah. So I didn't see the first quarter. Did he really start out on Kyrie?
Yeah, but he started on
primarily, but it was some switches that
it was so many switches. Like nobody primarily guarded anybody. Kyrie was sometimes matched up on him too. So I mean, he did start out. He when Kai got the ball, Ant guarded him. I mean, it didn't do nothing because Kyrie was doing whatever he wanted to whoever he wanted, however he wanted to do it. Left hand, right hand. I don't think
floater, mid range.
He had 30 points and they ain't made a 3, or maybe he might have made 1.
Well, we almost at 30 minutes, man. We only go do these 30. These are gonna be 30-minute post game reactions throughout the playoffs, man. So the last 6 minutes, we'll leave the phone line open. Call in. You got 30 seconds to make your point, and then we'll roll out. But yeah, let's talk about narratives, man. How y'all like that Anthony Edwards, Michael Jordan narrative after seeing this game?
I think it's hella early. I mean, like, I understand the recency bias, I understand the hype, and I understand, like, we can see the ascension path that Ant is taking, but that's got to stop. Like, I thought it was a joke at first, like, Jordan's illegitimate child, blah 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 blah, but like straight up Jordan comparisons, you gotta pin that.
Nah, more Dominique Wilkins and maybe a little bit of D Wade, but not quite on that Jordan level. Some D Wade, and he still got some more growing to do to hit that D Wade thing. But I could give him Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah, it's unfair. Like Jordan, when we talking about the pinnacle here, like he kind of looked like him. That's probably like in the face.
That's not it. Yeah. He black as smut. You know what I mean? But that's not it.
Well, both of them boys midnight and their eyes kind of yellow.
Yeah,
but I think we gotta, it's unfair to Jordan because of what he did, and I think it's unfair to Ant because he's 22 years old and he's not there yet. Like,
that's a lot of pressure to put on a kid,
and that's okay. That's okay that he ain't there yet, because guess what? We see the flashes, we see the glimpses, we see the promise, the potential that this kid may have. So let him be Anthony Edwards, and let's see what that turned into.
Yeah, and I think.
All right, Dino, you on the line. You got 30 seconds, big dog.
What's good, fellas? How you doing, man?
Salutations, brother.
Yeah. I want to touch bases on the whole thing about Ant having to drive in and create offense through that for them collapsing and then pass out. When you have you got Denver where you have Jokic, who's not he's gonna affect the shot by just being there and putting his hands up and using his physicality. But when you got somebody like Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, and even PJ Washington, who can actually jump with good length as well, that changes the whole game. And you have people hustling, rotating out on the shooters. Josh Green, Derek Jones Jr., right? Even Dante Exum, I think I've seen him in the first half a lot more than the second half. But when that changes the whole game plan. So it's back to the drawing board, and I think it falls down to coaching. They weren't allowed to get to the paint and dime out. They did it a few times. That's how Jaden McDaniels was finding a lot of threes. They were setting screens for him, and it would be a drive with Cat and pass to Jaden McDaniels. But for the most part, man, they're collapsing. They're walling up, what it seems like, and it seems like that's bothering Ann as well. So I think that's that's a big reason why they were selling it for threes.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good point.
Still, man, that's why this era of basketball annoys me, because
now we talk.
The drive and kick game is playing A, B, and C, and I'm like, don't forget about the post game. Why does it have to be as soon as somebody build a wall? The reason why the wall work for driving kick players like LeBron is because they don't have the post game or the mid range or early on the 3-point shot to punish you with that wall, right? Mm-hmm. That's why Michael Jordan and Kobe went to the post so much, because I don't have to worry about defense is staring at me and I gotta try to attack 5 guys to get to the hole. I can just go back to the basket, get a mouse in the house, and we still in the offense just like it's my A game. Yeah. I'm like,
I agree. I agree, man.
You have Anthony Edwards out there. At some point, if you get Kyrie on you, it's time to go in the post. But you're still trying to figure out a way how to drive on Kyrie when you can just go in the post and make it easy. Like, the post game is not just for scoring. It creates offense. You if the double comes, you can start moving the ball and get an open shot from the 3, and then it gets people in foul trouble. It's the body shots of boxing. Yeah, it's like the body shots of basketball.
Which is another reason why Ant don't need to be compared to MJ because MJ post game was elite. And if Ant had that in this game, it would be a lot easier, no matter who it was, because he's a big kid. You know what I'm saying? If he had that, he's a big kid. He don't got that in the game. It's 3 or dunk right now.
What is he? 6'6", 225?
Yeah, and another thing too, Cat, man, like I've seen him. He has the clear mismatch. Josh Green, Dante Exum, and instead of attacking, and you're catching the ball in the post, and instead of actually, and I've seen you do post moves. I know you have that in your bag. You have out. You like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. It's beyond me, man. The drive and kick basketball, man. You can't live and die by that, man. That's crazy, man. But thanks for the call, Dino.
Appreciate you, Dino.
Absolutely.
All right. Drive and kick, man. That 30 minutes came quick, yo.
Yeah, it did.
It really did.
All right, man. What else before we get out of here?
Game. I guess we can talk a little bit about
game 2 tomorrow for
game 2 tomorrow.
And that was man. We should have came in and did a synopsis after that one last night.
Yeah, we could hit on it a little bit. I mean, it was the Pacers game until it wasn't.
You cool to stretching is about 40 minutes, Mill, just 9 more minutes. We can talk about that game 1.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's on y'all. I'm trying not to keep y'all up.
Yeah.
Y'all know I'm the Energizer Bunny, baby. You know what I mean? I slept last year. I don't need to get no nap today.
Okay.
So honestly, I was thoroughly surprised by Indiana. I didn't think it was going to be like a blowout or anything like that. I just thought that Boston would definitely have a bit of more of an advantage, even without having KP. Just like how the way they just, the style of basketball that they play, But Indiana, I told y'all in the group chat, Indiana came to play, and for a while they were trading leads, and then Halliburton was just hitting crazy shots.
Crazy shot. It was crazy.
Crazy shots. And then the role players, I mean, Pascal, well, he's not a role player, but like Pascal Siakam finally had a decent game, being who he's supposed to be on that team. The role players, TJ McConnell and all the other guys, Nembhard, Neesmith, you know what I'm saying? Like, that team really stepped up. And if it wasn't for a couple of maybe some decisions that should have, like, maybe you foul here, maybe you do this here, Indiana might walk away with a steal in game 1.
I thought they was gonna steal it. I mean, they did steal it, but Boston stole it back.
Yeah. They did.
Once it went to overtime, it was a wrap.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the overtime, Jaylen Brown hitting a big shot. I think that kind of took the momentum, and then the Pacers started playing like a young team after that. Making silly, even leading up to that shot, a turnover on an inbound when you up 3 with a few seconds left, like that's crazy. You can't make those type of mistakes in the Eastern Conference Finals. And they would start once they started making them. Boston capitalized. Give Boston credit, but I got to give the Pacers credit for even making it that much of a game, like to where Boston should have probably lost that game. It's good that you win because guess what? You still up 1-0 no matter how it looked. But Boston, they scare me. Like
they get in their own way, bro.
They get in their own way so much. I
get bored. Remember this team won 60+ games. They be getting bored, man. Like Jason Tatum got 30 in them whenever they need it. But I'm like, man, we got so much weaponry out here. I don't need to give you 30.
That might be what it is, but they can't do that in the Eastern Conference Final. This team, I think what happened was I saw the game at the beginning and Boston came out and showed that they were Boston and we're the better team. They came out, scored easy, however they wanted to, locked up. I think they went on like a 10-0 run, had to force a timeout, and then they kind of, like Mel said, they probably got bored. And then they allowed these dudes to gain confidence and feel like they can compete with them. And then from that point, when you give a team, I know what it's like. If I'm playing against a team and they better on paper, like hands down, and I start making shots, oh, y'all in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Especially when you start making the crazy asinine shot that they were making. Like that is just his confidence. His confidence was out of there at that point because
under Jaylen Brown's arm and just threw it up there to close the shot. It banked in. Like you feeling yourself at that point.
Pulled it from the Celtics logo for halftime to tie it up into the half. Yeah. I'm like, these boys. at this point, like like when it's one of those games when it's like you got it going on and and then they just once it got to those like last 15 seconds of regulation in the overtime, they just like Zoe said, they started showing that they were a young team.
Mm-hmm.
Boston basically did exactly what Minnesota did. The only difference is
good point.
Boston got lucky and hit a last second three to take it to overtime, and Minnesota didn't get lucky. They both came out, jumped on them early, got bored, got complacent, and then it caught up with them in the end because they didn't put this team away, and they almost got beat. But Minnesota did get beat. That's how I see it.
Real quick, I want to ask y'all a question because a lot of people have been talking about it. So the decision to not foul Jaylen Brown when he got the ball, how do y'all feel about it? Y'all okay with it? Was it a right choice? In like, did Siakam make the right choice? And it's just that luck of basketball, or what? How do y'all feel? Because he had a chance to foul him before he went for a shot,
and they with the line,
and he would have shot two.
There is no right. So when you're up three, and the other team has the ball, there's no right or wrong answer whether to foul or not foul. Like, because you can foul and they go hit 2 free throws and it's 10 seconds still on the clock, and then they foul you and you come miss a free throw and they come back down and tie it up and go into overtime. So every time you make a decision to do something and it doesn't work,
it's gonna get criticized.
It's gonna be the wrong one, but there's no right or wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's coach's discretion for me. Like, I probably, considering how the flow of the game was going, I probably would have told them to try to get a quick foul in. Just don't foul no 3-point shooters. And honestly, Jaylen Brown had to take a little sidestep head fake in order to even get that shot off. He had a chance to foul, but he played good. I mean, honestly, it was a good defense. Jaylen Brown just hit a shot. He was right there in his face.
He actually kind of fouled Jaylen Brown, to be honest with you.
He bumped him. He did. Yeah. He made contact. He did.
Just stuck his hands behind him just to, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I didn't do it.
But he definitely made contact.
Y'all see LeBron's tweet about that?
No, what did he say?
He said, and y'all still want to know why I would foul up 3 every single time.
Yeah, I think that's one of his pet peeves that he talked about on his Mind the Game podcast. And he been beating that dead horse for like 3 weeks ever since he said it.
Yeah. Thank you, LeBron, for that. I mean, we know that's an option. We've seen teams do it, and we've seen teams not do it and still win. So at the end of the day, it's coach's preference. He know his personnel. Whatever they choose, if it works, guess what? We're not even gonna have a conversation.
You're
about
the hero.
It. Yep. If it doesn't work, then people gonna be acting like it's something that they should have did. I told y'all. Like, he always want to get on his soapbox anytime somebody.
You can't really question Rick Carlisle's coaching pedigree because he's been there and he's won that. You know what I'm saying? And he's gotten pretty far with some decent teams, and he's been in this game for a minute. And he said, he said, that's coach's discretion. I'm not mad at him for not fouling. I understand the decision. It could have gone either way. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of those ones that, always the game of what ifs. But y'all think we see the same in game 2, or does Boston beat Boston? Like real Boston?
Yeah, it probably a blowout game too.
Me too. I was just about to say, I think Boston comes out. They play with their food, honestly, and if they watched any of that film, it looked like they played with their food. I think they're gonna come and I think they're gonna assert their dominance in Boston, and it's gonna be probably a one-sided game, and that's gonna be tough for Indiana.
Yeah.
One last thing before we get out of here. They said that KP might be available to come back game 4 time frame. If Boston is up 3-0, do you bring him back to like work him in those last couple games, or do you save him for the finals?
Yeah,
I'll bring him back. Get a game under his belt.
Yeah, so like a minutes restriction, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Let him run up and down. Let him run up and down. Get in, because you want to get him to be completely honest, other than defensively, because Al Horford had some struggles defensively last night, but he made some plays down the stretch, and offensively, he was making some shots that was. This man is 80 years old out there. So to get KP back acclimated with that starting unit and to know that they play differently, I would give him some burn, but you got to be careful. I think minutes restriction definitely, because KP will get hurt on you, and if you up 3-0. with a game to go to the finals. That's the last thing you need. You want everybody ready. So, but I would give him some run because I don't want him to go straight into a final series trying to come back
rusty.
Groove. Exactly.
Yeah, ain't played in over a month and then playing in the finals. So,
exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Caitlin Boo Boo down by 3 points with 7 seconds to go. They got the ball. They just called a timeout. She got 19, 7, and 7.
Oh, they put her on the ball as a
yeah.
Hold on, what channel is that on? Is that on ESPN?
I don't. It probably is. I think all her games televised, so it might be on ESPN or Tribe Valley Sports. But whoever guarding Lloyd, Jewel Lloyd, is getting buckets. She got 32.
Jewel Lloyd got 32.
She got 32. Yeah.
She
bro, it's some buckets in the W, bro.
We're not gonna talk about that right now, Chris. Let me tell you why. Because these dudes keep saying this ridiculous things. It's some real hoopers in that league. There's some real hoopers in that league, bro. Like, stop.
It's some real hoopers.
You know how many points she averaged last year?
Who?
Jewel?
Yeah, Jewel.
Jewel Lloyd. How many?
Yeah, 25.
Hooper. Bucket.
She averaged 25 last year, bro.
That's got to be somewhere near in the tops of the league last year for W. It's got to
I think it was the top. Yeah, because the MVP wasn't even averaging that much.
No, she was just averaging a double-double. Asia.
Asia.
No. Stewie got
MVP.
Oh, yeah, she did. Asia got it before that.
Hey, but Asia, that's a walking bucket.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn, you can't leave when we start talking about WNBA, man. That's messed up, man.
Game 2 on Friday night.
Hey, we'll be here tomorrow at the game 2, and we're gonna.
Hey, just for that, Caitlin Boo Boo gonna be the first topic Friday.
They going to the finals. Who is they? The Swish. Who's they?
Dallas.
So they can stop what has Kyrie done without LeBron talk. He's talking about the Mavs.
They gonna stop a lot of talk about Kyrie.
Man, for real. But bro, ain't nobody in this league is man. Listen, put some respect on Kyrie's name. At the end of the day, if anybody who don't have respect on Kyrie's name, I question your basketball acumen because that dude is certified.
I'm about to change my point guard list in the league right now. I'm about to put him above Steph.
I ain't mad.
I'm about to have SGA 1, Kyrie 2.
Listen, man, there's nothing. Tonight was a prime example of what because we talking about, like I said, the number 1 defense. Everybody got a taste. Pause. And first, Jaden McDaniels tried. Everybody tried. Mike Conley tried. Everybody tried. Rudy Gobert stepped out there and tried to stop his shot. Everybody tried. Kyrie did exactly whatever he wanted to do with either hand he wanted to do with it, jumping off the wrong leg, laying it up. But like this man was just doomed. He was Uncle Drew tonight. He was Uncle Drew.
Savant type shit.
Oh yeah, just ridiculous. There's nothing you could do. Great defense, just better offense.
There's no strategy for made buckets. I'm gonna put it on a shirt.
Yeah, that's a good one to put on the shirt. That's another one.
I can't wait to put my shirt on Friday, man.
Don't say what it is. Don't say what it is. Just wear it. Just wear it. Just wear it. Just wear it.
BBL Drizzy.
Why is that beat so catchy?
That beat fire, bro. That beat fire, man. It's crazy.
Man, we had
Let's get up out of here, man. Hey, but before y'all leave, hit
that like button, bro.
Like and share, please. And share.
And put the word out for all the I see a couple mods. Doug M, one of our moderators in here. Hey, put the word out. We will be going live after the games because we got NBA basketball every day until the finals start. So we're gonna try to do these little quick 30-40 minute recaps. So put the word out, man. Y'all come join us after the game.
Factuals. Like, comment, like and share. For those new and watching, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Bring others in. And hell yeah.
That's good.
All right. Playoff basketball, baby.
Catch y'all tomorrow and then Friday. Peace.